Welcome to the Wellness on Purpose podcast, your go-to source for impactful, educational, and realistic information designed to propel you forward on your journey to intentional well-being, not just for today, but for the well-being of future generations. Join us as we dive into insightful conversation with industry and brand leaders in the ever-evolving landscape of the health and wellness industry. Discover the latest trends, gain valuable perspectives, and uncover practical tips to elevate your wellness journey starting today. This podcast is brought to you by Joanne's Place Health Foods, your trusted partner in health, located in the heart of Peterborough and Lindsay, Ontario. I'm your host, Marissa Laughlin, and I'm thrilled to be guiding you through this season of the Wellness on Purpose podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wellness on Purpose podcast. It's Marissa, your host, and today I am joined by special guest Natasa Paroutis from Natural Factors. Natasa is a nutritionist just like myself, and she has been in the health and wellness space for over 15 years. So she comes with a lot of great perspective, education, and experience, and I'm so happy for her to be joining on this episode today to talk about one of the hottest health and wellness trends that we are seeing today, which is collagen. As we dive deep into the world of collagen, we're going to be talking about how to choose the right form of collagen, the different types of collagen, how much collagen you should be consuming and for how long, some myths about collagen, and so much more. So if you're ready to glow from the inside out, continue to listen and join me in welcoming Natasa onto the podcast today. Hello, Natasa. Welcome to the Wellness on Purpose podcast. So happy to have you here today to talk to our listeners all about collagen. But before we dive into that, I would love for you to take a minute and introduce yourself, talk to our listeners a little bit about who you are, where you come from, which is Natural Factors. So take it away.
Thanks, Marissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Natasa. I'm a nutritionist here at Natural Factors, and I've really been focusing on skin health, specifically on collagen. It's kind of been a personal interest of mine. Over the years, I've had so many different skin issues myself, so it kind of just led me down this path of researching various things to help with her skin, and collagen has been kind of a hot topic, especially in the research. So that's what brings me here, and I'm happy to help educate people about collagen and skin health in general.
Love it. Also, one of my favorite conversations, skin health, because obviously we want to all age beautifully and just have clear complexion, try to reduce those fine lines. So I'm really looking forward to talking about collagen today. So for our listeners that are maybe new to the health and wellness industry, or even people who have been in the industry for some time but are just not aware, can we start right at the basics and talk about what exactly is collagen and why is everyone going crazy over this? And is it essential for our bodies? Do we need it? Do we make it? Tell us the details about what collagen is.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that is the perfect place to start, right? Just what is collagen? I think it's important to understand that collagen is a protein. So it's actually the most abundant protein in our body, and it makes up about 25 to 35% of total body protein. And everything kind of depends on it for structure and function. So we might think of collagen as just in our skin, and it is there in abundance, but it's also throughout our bodies. So it's in our bones, our ligaments, our cartilage, our blood vessels, our gut, our eyes, you name it. Basically, collagen is there in our bodies. And collagen is always turning over as well. So we need to replenish the collagen in our body. And studies show that we need to make about 1 pound of new collagen every 5 days. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much collagen our body needs to produce. And then on the other hand, research tells us that around our early 20s, we start to naturally decline in collagen production, about 1% per year at that time. And then even for postmenopausal women, that decline is even more rapid. So on one hand, we know that, okay, we need collagen throughout our bodies. Everything depends on it, but then we also start to lose it naturally as we get older. So it's a good conversation to have. And I think that's why there's so much hype about collagen, because we want to know how we can get our collagen back. How can we support collagen production, especially as we get older?
Good to know that it's involved in literally everything. I mean, a little bit alarming that it starts to decline so early on. We have to really make up for that loss for sure. So, as we start to see those numbers of our collagen production start to decline, what would be some of those signs and symptoms that we would be looking for to say, hey, maybe I need to supplement or consider where my collagen levels are at?
I think the first thing that people start to notice are those fine lines, right? Especially around the eyes, fine lines and wrinkles. Like we said, I mean, it does start to decline in our early 20s, but we don't actually start to notice that decline until maybe our mid to late 30s, where we start to notice those fine lines around our eyes. That's probably the biggest thing that we notice. But just know, as you see it on the outside, it's also happening throughout our bodies, right? Because collagen is everywhere, that collagen decline is also happening in our bones and our muscles. And I think that's the second area where people start to notice that decline. I know for myself, I love running, and especially now in my late 30s, there's slower recovery times after a long run or after more intense exercise, and that makes sense because of that collagen decline that's happening. So I think the skin is the first place we notice it, and then our bones and our muscles we start to notice it. Of course, it is happening in other areas of our body as well. And then in terms of, okay, well, what can we do? I know we'll get into the details, but basically diet, lifestyle, and supplements. Diet is first. I'm a nutritionist, so I'm always about food first. We want to eat everything that we can, the best quality food that we can to support our collagen production. Lifestyle is also really important. We often think of the sun, right? The sun's UV rays can really affect our collagen breakdown. I'm not sure if you've ever seen, there's a famous picture of a truck driver who was researched in the New England Journal of Medicine, right? So he drove a truck that had sun exposure on one side of his face for about 20 years or so, and there was a clear marked difference on his skin. So the sun's UV rays can really break down the collagen in our skin. So we want to protect our skin. Stress is another lifestyle thing I always like to mention. We know that when we're stressed, that increases cortisol levels, and cortisol can further degrade collagen. So it's another thing to stress about when we're stressed, but it really does affect our skin and our collagen production as well. Inflammation and smoking can further degrade collagen. And then, of course, supplements, which we'll get into, that can really help us to fill in those nutrient gaps as we get older and as that collagen is naturally declining.
Okay, now before we get to specific supplements, I want to circle back to your comment about dietary intake and what that looks like. Is collagen found in specific types of food? Or when we talk about food, are we more or less talking about foods that are providing, the additional minerals and vitamins for our body to be able to be healthy? Or is it that you're referring to like direct sources of collagen?
That's a great question. And I think that's probably one of the first questions I get. Like, can I just eat all my collagen? Can I get collagen through food sources? And like I said, I think that's what I always recommend first. If you're looking to increase collagen production as you get older, you want to look at food sources. And specifically, I'm referring to protein sources, right? So protein is going to give your body the building blocks that it needs to make collagen. So lean meats and fish and eggs and even plant sources like soy and quinoa can provide those amino acids that your body needs to make collagen. Bone broth is another one. People say, can I just have bone broth? And those are excellent sources of key amino acids that are necessary to make collagen. The other thing I like to tell people with food sources is vitamin C. Vitamin C is so important. Vitamin C is actually a rate limiting ingredient in terms of collagen production. So our bodies need vitamin C to make collagen. So we want to make sure, we lean into eating the rainbow. So bell peppers and berries and citrus, these are a few vitamin C sources that can be excellent to help, again, give your body some of those building blocks to make collagen. The only caveat I say with diet is as important as it is, it's important to know what our body does with those things. So when we ingest protein rich foods, for example, our body is going to break down that protein into, various amino acids and peptides, and it's going to use those amino acids and peptides for various functions in the body, not exclusively for collagen production. As well, when we ingest food, we might not, if we're thinking of collagen specifically, we might not get the dose of those peptides that are necessarily going to give us the clinical results that we see in studies. So while food is really important, we also just have to know that if we're looking to target collagen production specifically, it's necessary, but it might not be everything that we need to really signal our cells to start producing more collagen.
Absolutely. And also, like, if we think about the average individual who is, maybe really cleaning up their diet, they're eating those protein rich foods, they're eating their vitamin C rich foods, they're trying to do the right things in their dietary intake. But then they look at the other things where they're under chronic amount of stress. They have a lot of like physical stress that they're undergoing, like maybe they're training for a marathon or whatever that might be. Like there are those other factors that will degrade your collagen production as well. And I think that's a great way to kind of segue into supplementing with collagen, because we see, like, this is probably the number one selling health product right now. And I use collagen on a daily basis for multiple reasons. One, I want to slow down that aging, not slow it down, but enhance that natural aging process as much as possible. I use it for a way to get in more protein, very simple and effective way. But I also noticed like such a difference in like the quality of my skin, my hair, my nails by taking this collagen as well. So let's talk about specifics around collagen peptides, and what that is. So we see a lot of different names. We see collagen peptides, we see hydrolyzed collagen, we see different sources of collagen. So let's talk about how they differ in terms of absorption and effectiveness. Do we choose marine versus bovine? Tell us all the details about picking the right supplement.
Yeah, I think that's good to kind of unpack because, someone might hear all the hype about supplements and then they go to the health food store and there's like a whole aisle of them and then they don't know what to choose. So I think it's good to kind of break it down. When we think of collagen, right, we talked before about how it's a protein, right? So it's a very large protein, actually. So whole collagen is a large protein. It's called this triple helix structure. And so if you ever heard that expression, a threefold cord cannot quickly be broken, right? So that's kind of like collagen. It's very tightly wound. So something needs to be done to it on the manufacturing side in order for us to be able to absorb it. So then that's where you see hydrolyzed collagen. So that's whole collagen that's essentially been broken down. And hydrolyzed collagen is good. We can definitely absorb hydrolyzed collagen. But then some keen manufacturers go a step further and develop what's called bioactive collagen peptides, or just collagen peptides. And this is where I feel that people should be looking on the label for this kind of collagen, because specifically bioactive collagen peptides have been designed to have a very unique amino acid composition that's very similar to collagen itself. So that means that our bodies can recognize these peptides almost like collagen fragments, like, oh, hey, collagen must be breaking down somewhere. Let's band together and let's start making more collagen. And even in terms of how they're manufactured, they have very strong peptide bonds. So they can even be absorbed intact, meaning they don't get destroyed in your gut, but they can go into circulation in your bloodstream. And that's where your cells recognize them. So if you just think of that word bioactive, it has like biological activity. Just think of that word when you're looking for collagen supplements. And then you're really getting a very high quality collagen supplement that is actually going to do something in your body. So think of that. Of course, there's also different all types of collagen and different sources of collagen. Again, it really comes down to, what area of the body that you want to target. I try to just tell people, if you're looking for a general collagen to kind of hit your skin and your bones and your muscles, just look for a bovine collagen. Bovine collagen is type 1 and type 3 collagen. Without getting into all the nitty gritty details of the types, I would just say a bovine collagen can really kind of hit all of the marks. And specifically the bioactive collagen peptides. If you get something like that, then you know you're going to hit all your bases and get a good quality supplement.
Quick pause in today's episode because I want to talk to you about a transformational online program. In case you missed it, Joanne's Place released an online program called the Wellness on Purpose Program to Educate You last year. And our intention with this program is to make this education more accessible for our community to better support their wellness journeys. This program promotes sustainable and realistic changes, and it really focuses on the foundational pillars of every single person's health: your nutrition, your sleep, your stress, and also movement. If you want to get started today, click the link in the description below to learn more about the Wellness on Purpose program. By the way, it's completely free, and you can move at your own pace from the comfort of your own home. Now let's get back to the episode. Good to know. And for our listeners, I will say personally, I do use the Natural Factors Total Body Collagen, the bovine source, and I love it. I love the cofactors that are added into that as well too. It mixes really well, and I don't know why I don't try the marine, but I'm just so sold on the bovine that I'm like, this is perfect. But I do know a lot of people that use the marine as well, and they love the effects of that too. So.
For sure. And I think the marine, it's almost like we position it almost like a lifestyle choice, right? Like it still has that unique amino acid composition, but there's a lot of people that follow that pescatarian lifestyle, and it can still give you all the benefits, but the source is just different. So I think it's really more just like a lifestyle option. So they're out there for you.
Absolutely. So in terms of people who are taking collagen or like thinking about taking collagen, um, are there any potential side effects or risks associated with taking a collagen supplement that we should know about, whether that is like taking right off the bat, just starting, or taking long term, like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so collagen is actually very, very well tolerated, which is great news. I've reviewed dozens and dozens of studies, and all of them have that statement, no adverse effects, which is excellent to see, especially when it comes to a nutritional supplement. That's what we want to see. I always just recommend, this kind of goes without saying when you're starting anything new, just to start slow and build your way up to a full dose. Sometimes people, they're not taking any supplements and then they go from 0 to 100, and then they kind of blame the supplement and say, oh, it's not working for me, or it hurt my gut. But I always just say, if the dose is 1 scoop of collagen powder a day, for example, just take half or even a quarter of a scoop and then a half, and then build yourself up. That way you can kind of minimize any sort of GI upset, if anything, in the beginning. Also, taking a supplement with food would definitely be a good idea if you have a sensitive gut, especially. But that's usually just in the beginning, and that goes for any nutritional supplement. But like I said, collagen is very well tolerated. The only thing I would say is if you're pregnant, you're breastfeeding, or you have a chronic health condition, just double check with your healthcare practitioner before starting. Again, that goes with anything new. But yeah, in general, collagen is very well tolerated and can be taken for a long period of time as well.
Good to know, because I'm on about year 5. So, yeah, it's great. And as I said, like I take the Natural Factors Total Body Collagen. I do the unflavored because I like to be able to add that into anything. But I know in Star Joanne's Place, the orange flavor and the pomegranate, they both sell really well. Like people love being able to have something fruity flavor with their water. But as I mentioned, this is my favorite collagen, not just because I'm on this episode with you, but because of what's all in this formula. So can you break down why the Natural Factors Total Body Collagen is so unique with the formulation?
Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, I've researched a ton of different supplements, and I do really love this one. Obviously, I educate for this supplement, but I do take it myself and love it. And I think there's a few main things that make it stand out from other collagens on the shelf. The first thing is that it definitely uses those bioactive collagen peptides. So when you buy something, you want you want to get the most bang for your buck. And this one is actually going to be very absorbable and actually get to work and target your cells to start producing more collagen. So it has those bioactive collagen peptides. It also has clinically researched collagen, which I think is really important because we're using collagen that has clinical trials associated with it. And so that's why you'll see even on the bottles a claim like can help reduce fine lines and wrinkles within 28 days or even just within 1 month. And that's pretty cool to have that kind of claim on there. And you can only have that because of clinical trials that support that. So, and the dosing is in line with the clinical trials as well. So again, another reason if you're going to buy something, you want to make sure it works. There's actually research to support it. And then the third reason is it's very high quality. Again, like collagen is sourced from the connective tissue of animals. So as with any animal product, even with meat and dairy products, if you're choosing to consume those things, there's always that concern about contaminants and GMOs and steroid hormones and antibiotics and all of those things. Well, total body collagen actually goes through a very, very rigorous testing process in-house and then is sent out to a third-party lab called Ishura to test for I think they test for up to 800 different possible contaminants, which is well above what's required just to make sure that the product is very high quality, non-GMO, no steroids, no hormones, all of those things. And again, the bovine is grass-fed bovine, pasture-raised. The marine is wild-caught, sustainably sourced. So it kind of hits all the marks in terms of quality and sustainability. So that's another standout. One other thing I want to mention about Total Body Collagen is within the lineup, they also have some synergistic nutrients added to the formula. So I think you said you take the unflavored bovine. So that one has, vitamin C and glutamine and hyaluronic acid and, all biotin and other nutrients that can really help to support collagen production. And the formulation is just very nice and well-rounded and is a complete amino acid profile as well because of the tryptophan and the glutamine. So yeah, I think those are kind of the four things that make it stand out from other collagens on the shelf.
Absolutely. And yeah, I love the cofactors and the other added benefits to it. But I just want to circle back to what you said about testing and third-party testing, because I think this is very important. I didn't know that we were going to talk necessarily about this in this episode, but I really want to bring attention to it for our listeners. So in Canada, we actually have really stringent guidelines on creating natural health products in our industry, above top tier, regulations compared to other countries. So when a Canadian company, which Natural Factors is going through these testings, the way in which they formulate, get approved, and then further sell on the shelf, it's not an overnight process. There's so many things that go into this to hit all of those check marks, which really puts good trust in good quality Canadian brands that are on the market. I have converted a lot of people who have, been getting products shipped from other countries into Canada to try to get collagen. And I say, you know what? We have amazing Canadian products here that are at a higher standard than a lot of other products on the market. And I think there's just something to be said to that. When a company is testing it, then sending it out to a third party to be tested and being able to be on the shelf and support the Canadian communities, it's amazing. So
yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that is really important for listeners to know because not all companies do it as well. And it's so important to bring out why third-party testing is so important. And I've been in the industry a long time and many companies don't do it because it's quite expensive to do all of the rigorous third-party testing, but Natural Factors really invest in that because they really want to put out like the best quality products. And I've seen that across the whole lineup. And yeah, I think especially a product that's sourced from animals as well, you have to be extra cautious. So I think that's a key standout for sure.
absolutely. So we've talked a lot about what collagen does for the body, where it comes from, different types. But what we do know with any natural health product is that there's also a lot of myths that are out there. So in your time in the industry and, promoting, educating, recommending collagen, what would you say are some of the biggest myths that you've heard about collagen? And let's take some time to kind of debunk that for our listeners.
Sure. Yeah, there are so many actually. I think the biggest thing that I hear the most is people say, kind of touched on it earlier, like you don't need to take collagen supplements. You can just get all of your collagen supplements through your food. You can eat bone broth. And I always start by saying, yes, you need to eat those things. Your body doesn't stand a chance to build collagen without those things. But I think it's really important for people to know that when you consume these things, your body is going like protein, your body's going to just break it down and use it for various functions. Whereas collagen peptide supplements are specifically designed to target your cells to produce more collagen. So, yes, you need to eat protein and vitamin C, and bone broth is excellent for so many things. But if you're really looking to stimulate collagen production, like you're, in your late 30s and you're like, I need some support. I'm getting those fine lines and wrinkles and I'm getting, achy joints and so forth. If collagen production is your main concern, like you want to build that up, then collagen supplements are really it, not just collagen rich foods. So I think that's a myth that often comes up, and I always try to educate people on. That's why collagen supplements are so important. And even just to touch on bone broth, because that one I get the most, like, why can't I just have bone broth? This is like a source of collagen, essentially. I would just say there's so many different preparations of bone broth out there as well. It's hard to get a consistent key source of those amino acids and the dose that you need. It's very hard to get that through food alone, unless you're only consuming bone broth in a day, which most people don't. It's hard to get that clinical dose that you need to really show any real benefits. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I get.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to be made is amongst more than just collagen. But I mean, I get that question. I'm also a nutritionist, so I get this question a lot about, optimal dosages. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
food first is always going to be my recommendation, as you said, but it is very hard to hit a clinical dose of protein, of collagen, of whatever else we're talking about without supplementation. It's possible, but you just might be eating and drinking literally all day to hit that
Right.
level. I don't have
Right.
time for that.
I
um,
know.
so
And
it is important to pick and choose. And again, like to rave about the total body collagen, it's why I choose this is because it's multiple products in one. As you said, biotin, L-glutamine, hyaluronic acid. We know those are good for other things as well. So getting kind of like a product like total body collagen that's multi-use and multi-formulated with other ingredients. So it's a big
For
one.
sure. Yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say too about the dose, like the bovine one that you take. I mean, I think the dose on the back is one scoop, 10 grams, but clinical research actually shows that you can see benefits even just taking 2.5 grams a day, which I like to point out, which is kind of cool because again, your money goes a lot further when you buy a big tub of that collagen. If you look at the research for skin elasticity and hydration and hair and nail health as well, even just 2.5 grams a day can get you to that clinical dose that's necessary. So again, it's yeah, your money goes a long way with even just a little bit.
Absolutely. And for the people who are listening thinking, I don't want to powder because I don't want to mix it. I don't want to have those things. Let me tell you, if you can just get over the fact of having to do it and to mix it, you're going to increase your water, which is increasing your hydration, hydrating the rest of your body. Also, we know that wrinkles can be a side effect of dehydration in the body. So you're getting extra water in that way, supporting the rest of the body. If you decide to do the capsule route, which you could, you just have to take so many more. So simple, effective way you can get unflavored or flavored powders, mix it up, you're increasing your hydration, getting your collagen, and getting that skin, hair, joint health optimal for you. So go with the powder.
Yeah, for sure. And it's palatable, right? Like it tastes really good. I mean, unflavored is awesome to add into smoothies and coffees, but even like the orange one's my favorite one. Tastes really good, really natural. Pomegranate is good too. I bake with the pomegranate sometimes. Collagen can withstand really high heat, so you can definitely, bake with it as well, and it won't become denatured or anything. So lots of ways that you can kind of weave it into your diet.
Awesome. Great. So for our listeners, if you guys want to learn more about the natural factors, total body collagen, pop into one of our locations, talk to one of our staff to learn more about this. I will also leave the Natural Factors website in the description below for you to get more information as well. Natasha, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wealth of information on the podcast today. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another insightful episode of the Wellness on Purpose podcast. We hope you found the information valuable and inspiring to support you along your wellness journey. Before we go, a quick reminder. The content shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, it's important to remember that everyone's health journey is unique. We strongly recommend consulting with your healthcare professional or a qualified health practitioner for personalized advice tailored to your specific needs and circumstances. Your well-being is a priority, and speaking to a healthcare professional ensures that you receive guidance that best aligns with your individualized health goals. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please reach out to us through our website. That's all for now. I hope you stay well, stay informed, and remember, your health is your greatest wealth. Until next time, take care.